As usual, there is the updates list on that little meeting agenda that has been shared in the chat. Feel free to read through that, and there's really no action items at this point. Everything is on the way, basically, or in progress. There's not much more to talk about. This is just the time to bring up last minute issues if you have them, or if there's anything else that needs discussing that I didn't think of. And if there's any questions about the updates, feel free. There'll probably be questions about that first one, I'm guessing. But thankfully, Band-Aid's in here and can answer those questions.
Band-Aid.
Hello. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot from other people still in this upcoming week, so I don't know how you want to go over that kind of stuff. Did you want to kind of briefly cover it, and then I can do my piece, or how do we want to do that?
Well, you can just describe what it is you want to do and what additional help you think you might need.
Yeah, so hey guys, a lot of you probably know me. I do a lot of stuff with AV usually all the previous years, and always running around building fun, shiny things that flash a lot of lights. This year, I wanted to do an event at BLFC that a lot of other cons have done, but kind of introduce it in a way where we can kind of see how the GSR reacts, see how all the attendees react, and not go too crazy the first year. So we're going to be doing a gear night. We're calling it Festival After Dark. Unfortunately, I couldn't call it the name I wanted it to, but we'll forego that. At least for now. But it's called Festival After Dark. It's similar to kind of Night Market at FC or the Moonlight Festival at FWA. It's basically, you're able to wear your gear within reason. Kink attire, latex, harnesses, etc. And kind of get a little bit more, I guess, naked than normal within reason. We're going to be getting those rules published on the website soon enough, but essentially it's just on a Halloween night. We'll be taking over the main stage dance and turning it 18 up. We'll be putting bars in there. There'll be a coat check. We're going to have Schlick and Moxie. They do a performance. We're going to be putting a pole on stage for Miss Moxie to be able to do a pole performance, and looking to drop some 2 risers for people to kind of dance on. Initially, was going to look for some cages, but couldn't find anything in time. So just to allow the attendees also to kind of get up on a little platform and dance around without having to go on the big main stage. So that's really the gist of it. Nothing too crazy for this first year. And so just been working on planning all that. We have wristbands, but I can go over all that in detail more. But what do you think?
There's no need to necessarily go into high detail here unless people have questions. I was also going to mention that the purpose of the coat check is because people will be wearing things that they can't wear in the normal hallways of the property. So they'll have to cover it up with something, and the coat check gives them a place to put whatever it is they use to cover it up with. Or if they're changing clothes completely, because conveniently that space also has a bathroom, so that can serve as a changing space for people.
Yeah, and then I have 4 people under me that will be assisting with the event. We're gonna kind of be going around making sure rules are good. That was the only question I had about the radios, was because we definitely want to have we're Flare at this convention, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Have Flare to be able to, if something needs attending to, we're gonna just kind of be monitoring rules in the room and reading the room, make sure everything's good.
What hours was your event again?
Let me just see. I believe it's 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
We
It's
should have a few
2.
radios.
8 to 2 on the update.
Wait.
Okay. I think actually 10 to 2 is correct.
It should be 10 to 2. 8 to 2. Yep. We don't have 8 to 10 is our load-in time for that. Was setting up the room.
We should have some radios that can float around for you. I don't know if I'll have accessories for them, but we will have radios.
As long as I have a radio to put on someone's side, we're golden.
Yeah, we'll have radios because a lot of the day radios get checked in for overnight.
The other thing I do need to get with line control, and discuss line control for that room. And then we also need to figure out con ops, how we want to do pre-banding, because the GSR has given us permission to pre-band check IDs and pre-band
I don't
attendees.
know what pre-band is.
Handing out the
Check
wristbands
ID
before
at a
you-
wristband.
All at once again, please.
It's wristbanding attendees once we've checked their ID that they're over 18
Okay.
before the event, to lessen the line so we don't have to do all the ID checks in the line.
I continue to say that would be a perfect thing for the reg closet downstairs, because we don't use that for anything else. That'd be perfect for that purpose.
Oh, what we used to use, that closet we used to use for registration downstairs.
Yeah,
My
there's nothing else
thought,
for it.
yeah, my thought was just to have a table set up somewhere near where people are inevitably going to queue for that event anyway. And then if they try to queue up, you can just give them a wristband and be like, okay, here you go. You're good. You can come back later. But
My concern, as I observed at FC, is that if you are doing it like a day before, you are going to have a massive line.
I don't think the plan is to do it that far in advance, is it?
No, the plan is to do that only a few hours in advance. If it's the day before, then
There's
Then
security
that-
issues.
yeah, that adds more potential for somebody to figure out how to get the wristband off and move it to someone else or whatever. So I don't really want to do that more than a few hours in advance.
Now, granted, it is Tyvek security bands, so they're not quite
Right, they're not
very
removable.
easily removable. But if they put it on too late, yeah, you can probably get it off your wrist. But I mean,
If
right.
you can get anything off if you give them a day. Like,
yeah,
there's no security band that can not be circumvented in a day.
Right. Yeah, and I don't want to force people to have to wear the thing for a day either when it's not, it's just a basic little Tyvek band. They're only meant to be used for a few hours at a time and then thrown out.
but yeah, at least given enough time before the event, a couple hours to let people ID.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so we don't have to ID everybody on their way in the door because that'll take forever.
I do need to get with Lico and get the final drawings done, and get a legend on there for you guys like you asked. I'm hopeful to get that here before the next couple days. They've just been a little busy, and then I need to sync up with Dax again and see if signage got. I posted the rules to them just to see if we got some signage for it. Any ideas of signage, Tycho? If you have any additional ones, we want to just get that order in, because I think really I was just gonna have a rule banner and one that said like After Dark Festival, so people know that's where it is, and that was really the two major ones, and like maybe one that says code check.
Have we put these rules on the website? Have we made a website page for it?
We have made the rule document. I'm not sure if that got on the website yet.
Okay, need to get with Glitch and get that done.
Yeah,
because we need people to do this. Should have been done previously.
Glitch, do you just want me to send you the rule page, which basically has what it is, and then we can get that out?
Yeah, if you can link it to me on Slack,
Yeah,
that would be best. That way we can communicate it there further if needed.
Also, are you in the After Dark Festival chat? Yeah, you're in there. Wait, maybe not. Hold on.
Or website
I'll
stuff.
invite you.
Go to the website channel for website updates, please, so those can be consistently.
Yeah.
So that Glitch doesn't have to look everywhere all the time.
I am not in the website update channel.
It's a public channel. Anybody can join.
You can just join
gotcha.
it. Yeah.
Oh, browse channels. I see.
Speaking of channels, everyone should make sure that they are in their department's channel. If you guys need to be able to get in, can't find it or whatnot, message HR or just get in contact and we'll make sure you get in there.
Is that channel reference for Slack or for Discord or both?
Slack.
Thank you.
Discord is
only used for the music. You beat me to it.
Band-Aid will have to confirm Wolf Force, but I do believe that the bans will be done at the door. Also, the idea is just to start the process early with the in advance portion, so that there is less of a line at the door.
Correct. That is exactly correct. We're not gonna like, oh, you didn't get a band, you can't get it. No, we're gonna be banding all night, and it'll be done by I believe, I'll have to check with Clinton on this. I believe GSR security then takes it over. Like we have them doing our badge checks to get into that second stage room. I believe it'll be one of them checking the wristbands at the
GSR does not do the
or
checks. It's a private security company.
oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. ESI.
ESI, thank you. That was it.
Are the wristbands band-aids?
No. I'm not that self what is it? Self-absorbed.
What was the channel name again?
Website.
Thank you.
When are we planning on announcing this?
I would say as soon as it gets up on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you, yeah, I can get it up on the website as soon as. Yep, there it is, right there. Actually, if I have any questions, I could just ask those to you after the meeting.
Yeah, that'd work. And then we can get it on social media too, because yeah, we're a little close for that. I've been a little behind on it. I was also doing a bunch of help for DJ coordination, which all of our DJs are locked in and good to go. And the only other question I actually have for that, but I'll ask later. Yeah, I'll ask that later with you, Tycho.
Well, and in your defense, Rue, it did take us a lot of back and forth with the GSR to sort of finalize the rules too.
Yeah, we only got the rules like 3 weeks ago or something like that. So
yeah.
I only ask because I'm so excited about it, to be honest.
It's going to be fun. I really hope it's going to be fun. It's been super popular at other conventions. I really don't anticipate the what is it? Coat check being used super heavily. I think most people are going to wear like their, actually stuff that they can still wear in the, casino floor and through the lobby. The GSR is actually pretty lenient about that. It's more of just coverings of yourself. When we get the rules on a website, you'll be able to see that. But the one rule that we will want to make sure, just everyone's looking out for is we're keeping male and female nipples the same. They got to be covered with pasties. We're not going to exclude any genders. So, yeah.
We're going to make it equal for everyone.
Quality is best.
Quick question. So I noticed in my view of the current stage schedule, same time as the 18 plus is VR chat meetup in the next room over. That has already been discussed, and any issues with that? Because I assume that it's. Go ahead.
The people that are heading to the 18 plus dance are going to be on the far side of the room, lined up against the wall.
There is an air wall in there too, so they'll be on the other side of the air wall, in that area, being queued back and forth. So,
I don't think it'll be an issue, personally, knowing the crowd.
Plus, the VR chat meetup is at 10 p.m. when all the kiddos should be in bed. So, yeah.
And if anybody is wearing something that's really pushing the limits, they can't be wearing that openly visible while they're waiting in line, right? They have to wait until they're actually in the room. So there won't be as much thirst on open display for the people who are at the VR chat meetup. And they'll be too busy interacting with each other to even really notice, I think, for the most part.
So one thing I want to bring up here real quick. At FWA, the two most packed events I saw were the VR chat meetup and the Moonlight Fest. So if you have them at the same time, expect a lot of people gathered in that area.
I was just thinking about the same thing.
That's going to be very, very packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went
Just
to
the warning.
SWE. I can confirm that the line to get into the midnight area was like at least an hour, if not an hour and a half long at its worst.
I think we'll just have to put emphasis on making sure they ban beforehand as much as possible. And I think we'll have to lean on the social media team to communicate that once we have a solid plan of where we're going to put that pre-ban station and who's going to man the pre-ban station. I believe we dedicated that to ConOps instead of Reg.
You haven't yet because nobody has talked to me about it. So
correct. I was Tycho was suggesting that. I was just trying to figure out who we need to actually figure out.
Generally speaking, I do not have the staff to delegate to any department for anything.
Okay.
So I definitely need to advance notice if that's going to happen, and people need to include me if it's going to happen. I'm working with. I generally have all of my people busy for all of the time that I have. Also, we can't do it if ESI is doing it.
Well, we were given permission from GSR to pre-ban. So.
Right, but it's still on us to figure out how to do it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, well, ESI was mentioned earlier, so is ESI not doing the ID checking, or have we not decided?
I have ESI booked for that space. GSR gave us the permission to have ESI do that work.
Okay,
for the space entry.
So they don't care who does the wristbanding; they just want ESI checking that people have wristbands on. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, they were fine with our staff doing the ID checking and applying wristbands as long as. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should hash out the rest of this on the management meeting then, and we can move on.
This is not the time to hash that out.
Yeah. I'll mention it here since I think we're about wrapped up with this. Social media would like to remind everybody that if you have social media requests, both in the lead up to con and stuff you want at con, that needs to be scheduled in advance. If you ask for something at con that is not like this actually just happened and we didn't know in advance, we're not going to guarantee that it's going to go out because there's a lot of stuff that has to go out, and there is the ability for this to be scheduled in advance. So department leads, if you are doing hey, I want an announcement at this time when this opens, or I want an announcement, before this so that people can be told of this, that needs to be planned in advance at the social media channel in Slack.
Yeah, and I just also want to put this out finally on this before we can move on from Gear Night is just I am getting I'm getting a meeting scheduled for department heads and stuff like that that's going to be needed to make this happen later in this week. I'm trying to figure out a day that works for everyone so that we can get the last of these needs for this because we're very close for the rest of having this all locked in, but we just need to sync up once on
it. Something along that note as well, in terms of things that need to be prearranged. Chevron, do you want to talk about gophers?
Ouija, are you here?
Yes, I am here.
Go ahead, Ouija, it's your department.
Talk about the gopher form?
The gopher requests?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to stack up gophers more where they're needed this year. If we know we're going to need them ahead of time, I put out a forms link in Slack. And so if you know you're going to need a few gophers at some event during the weekend, fill out that form. Just give me how many gophers, what time, what day, and maybe a quick description of what they're doing. So kind of the big examples that I'm using are Reg opening. We know we're going to use more gophers for that. Also, Fursuit Festival, we know that there's going to be some extra hands needed for that one as well. But if you know at one point in the weekend you're going to need maybe 2 gophers here for this one event, fill out that form, and I'll try to get some extra hands scheduled for that time.
On Slack, where can this be found?
It's in the leads.
All leads. somewhere.
Since you brought up gophers, I don't know if this is allowed, but I am more than willing to cover like for a gopher for like half an hour if they need to go get something to eat, go to the bathroom or whatever.
We usually are able to take care of people within our own department with 4 gophers. But thank you for the offer. Like in general, when people are assigned to their own departments, make sure your own department's needs are taken care of. Like we do kind of assume that when you're assigned to that department, your hours are to that department.
Okay, fair enough.
Partially so we don't overwork you, like the rest of us work.
And that also goes under VMs. But I think it was AJ that asked, yeah, look for the link. Was sent on Tuesday the 10th.
I'll get it to you, AJ.
I think I found it. You said in Gophers?
No, it's our gopher requests in the private channel that is only for our leads is where it was posted.
Never mind then.
If that needs to go in a more public area, I can also post that, repost that.
Event schedule has been posted at least for volunteers.
Oh yeah, when is it going to be posted for people on the website?
They're working on it currently. I know we had a conversation with website actually today about approving that process to get that started. But if you're a volunteer, it's already in the announcement channel on Slack, and we request that to stay within there. But yeah, the public website version is being worked on in the moment and probably in the next few days.
Yeah, basically what Shivano said. It's something that we're currently working on it. And we're gonna have a online version of that up as soon as we can. It's mainly just getting the event schedule converted into that online format. But as soon as that's done, then we'll have it published and available for everybody to take a look at.
One more question from Striker Husky, who asks when the site will be ready for early applications for Dealer's Den for early access.
You mean by early? You mean when the tickets will be for the first day?
I think that's what they were referring to. Yeah.
Yeah, there must be entry ticket system.
I don't know when do we have a plan for when that'll start? I mean, it'll be announced, but
I know Crash Team's working on it. I don't know if Crash Team's in the meeting right now or not.
I don't think so.
Okay. But I know that's something Crash Team's actively working on right now.
Okay. So at the moment, it will be announced when ready. We try to always, when possible, make an announcement of like when a thing will be open.
Also, as a reminder, if you are staff that you get that metal badge, you guys don't need to get the time tickets. You guys do get priority access already with your staff badge, and those are the people that get the metal staff badges.
Anybody who's registered at Epic level also doesn't need one. They can just walk right in.
I have a couple of fursuit launch questions.
Before we get to that, do you mind if I share an update for the staff dinner?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. This is mentioned in the agenda. For those who are going to be at the staff dinner this year, it's going to be a little different. We don't know exactly how the method is going to work yet. We're still working on out the details, but to get into the staff dinner, we have to identify exactly how many people are attending the staff dinner. So when you go to the door at the staff dinner, there will be a volunteer. They will either ask you for your badge ID number, which is the number on front of your badge, just like last year, or there will actually be a barcode on the back of your badge that is individual to you. We're still working out the details on that. Either way, we need to identify each individual person for the purposes of billing and making sure we have an accurate head count.
But inside the staff dinner is going to be completely the same. So it's just that our entry process is changing a little bit.
Yeah. This is completely new to us, so we ask a little bit of patience. There may be a line forming. We don't think so, but it's new to us this year. We ask for patience.
Yeah, ultimately, all we have to do is write down the badge number of everybody who comes in, somehow or another.
Yep.
We'll be there in spirit.
So it doesn't add that much to the process.
Sounds awesome, but also I am not a number.
I am a fluff.
As the con treasurer, I am definitely a number.
For these purposes, you're a number.
We still have some of those shirts in the con store, by the way, if you'd like another one. And they're probably cheap too. They're probably discounted like $10 at this point because they've been around for a while.
I might have to bug some people at the con store this year.
I still got my 2
Oh,
posters
speaking
from
of
those 2
which,
years.
Levi, we give recruits a permanent 25% off at the con store after they've put in 8 hours. I think we do that for staff just across the board, right?
Yeah,
Same thing?
your badge, your middle badge is your 25% off discount.
Yeah.
And also
so
with
con
that,
store, if con store sees that you're a staff member, you get 25% off period on anything you buy at the con store.
and for any with kind of staff recruits, do make sure you guys are both registered and paid. So we did send out an email a couple days ago. Make sure, so if you got one of those emails, make sure you're going in, getting registered, and that you have your thing paid. If you do not, your badge will not be at the volunteer desk. You will have to go through the regular registration line. So if in doubt, just log in and make sure your thing says paid.
Some fursuit lounge questions. I just need to ask, I believe it's AV, about power drops, and I didn't know if Clinton needed anything from me because everything's the same as the last few years.
You still will need to communicate that to Clinton.
Okay. I don't have, I think other people have like different maps of the space. I don't have any of that yet. Do I need to have any of that?
I don't think you necessarily need the maps. You just need to let AV know how much power you plan to draw in that corner.
We generally have a lot of power available back there, by the way, so I think you should be good. And I think there's wall outlets over there, or at least floor pockets.
I believe we put 3 fans to a drop. So,
correct.
6 to 9.
Yeah, each of the blowers draws 3 amps, and so you can put 3 is very safe. You can probably get away with 4 per power drop, at least on the carpet blowers. I don't remember what the box fans draw. but
Just
I
don't
think
turn
one
them on.
rack.
Plenty.
Yeah, just don't turn them on at the same time.
Yeah.
The headless lounge fan rack things that use box fans, the rack as a whole is close to 15 amps. So that each one of those needs its own sort of circuit.
Okay.
I don't know if you're putting one of those behind main stage or not, in that main stage little satellite lounge.
The couple years before COVID that I remember, people use them.
Yeah, we probably had one back there, right?
At least, yeah. I think
I think we have a
might fit
total
two.
of 5 or 6. But remember, that space is only open when main stage is open, so it's only used for like about half the time the con is operating. So don't necessarily put a huge amount of gear over there, because then you're robbing the other spaces.
Are we allowing those to be used this year? Because I know at the volunteer desk, we kind of the last couple of years have Shanghaied one of those for transporting our stuff in and out of our office for.
Yeah, no, they're actually being used this year. So
okay, Levi and I will talk and we'll figure out. We'll make sure we have something.
Okay. I still have a lot of extra parts for making more of those racks. They'll be a different size, but you could probably assemble one at con if we make sure to bring the parts with us. Rue, you can probably use those for coat check space as well if you need places to put things. But it'll be on you guys to assemble them, because they're not coming to the con assembled. They take up way too much space to do that. They're just going to come as a pile of parts.
Like most things to a FurCon.
Including me.
What is a furry but a miserable pile of secrets?
They'll never know my secrets.
One more question on the same subject. Some kind of lighting for that fursuit lounge.
Amy's aware of it.
Okay.
As I say, I want to say Ray's already planning that.
We got you.
Thank you.
Yep.
It has been already talked about. That's all I can say. There is a plan.
Sending you heart hands.
And more than likely, I believe they're going to just try and do the same as last year, where they're going to throw some par cans up on that bar and just have them always chilling in there.
I think one year, I don't know if it was hotel or what, they just brought us like a stand on the floor lamp, like one of the $13 ones you'd get at Walmart.
You mean you don't want that as your light?
I mean, I was going to say I have one, so I could bring mine.
All I know is the last, I believe it was 2 years, we had the par cans up there, and I think we're going to try and do that again. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think I remember that. That looked pretty good.
Second, will we have any extra lighting for the VR chat portal? Because I think that area in Nevada might need a couple spots.
I believe that one's actually kind of on its own light circuit in general for just the general overhead lights. Because I know 1 year Theme was doing something over there and they had lights off in just that little alcove. So I think that they.
Yeah, we're doing lights off, but 1 second. We're doing lights off, but we want a couple spots for like dramatic effects kind of thing.
Furries are dramatic enough.
Probably just go into the AV channel on Slack and ask if they have the capacity to point spotlights in specific places. I forget if they have moving lights there or if it's just fixed position spot or par cans. I don't remember what they're using in second stage.
Will do, thank you.
Yep.
I actually have a question for Flair. Will our badges have like Flair's number on the back of them or anything?
Yes, player's number is already on the back of the badge.
Okay, thank you.
As is a phone number for ConOps. Both of them are Google Voice forwarding, and text messages are broken now in Google Voice because of the CAN Spam Act, and Google cannot forward text messages to a phone anymore. So those phone numbers have become voice only and is noted as such on the badge. That's a now limitation of Google Voice that was not there before. Actually, I think it might have been there last year and we missed it. We didn't realize it was a thing. Because Google Voice sends too many Google Voice sends too many text messages on others' behalf, and so it made them look like a spammer, and they can't differentiate between them and actual spammer. So Google Voice got caught up in that too, as a result.
I noticed a couple of comments about swag. Water bottles are in Reno. Might pick those up directly from that shop. Are those going to be picked up before load-in weekend? Because presumably that shop won't be open on the weekend.
Oh, that's a good point. They can probably coordinate with us to be open on the weekend or to get with us on the weekend if necessary to pick them up from the shop. But more likely, they're probably going to deliver them to our storage unit before that. I don't have the capacity to drive all that stuff to our storage unit, but they do have a delivery van. Okay. And so with the shirts and the mouse pads, they already brought those to me a few days ago and met me at storage, and we just piled them onto a pallet.
Okay, if you could do that again, that would be real helpful. The other one that I see is the items that have to be picked up in Sacramento. Logistics will be unable to help you with that because of the timing.
Yeah, I understand. That's just going to be me seeing if anybody is willing to run down to Sacramento or is coming from Sacramento and willing to pick them up and haul them here. And if not, I'll take Friday off work that day and just drive down to Sacramento and pick them up myself.
Okay, and you're still planning to pick up the truck at 10 o'clock on Saturday?
Yes.
Possibly with Kay, yeah.
So I actually have a question about the pickup that has to be done in Sacramento. I live in Galt, which is like 30 miles away from Sacramento. I don't have a truck, but my Mercury should be able to handle the 277 pounds.
It's too bulky. You need more volume than that.
Okay.
It's not a high density item. It's quite a bit of bulk. It's going to need somebody with a truck, and it's going to need a significant amount of the space in that truck.
Fair enough.
I appreciate the offer, but I don't think it's going to work unless you have a vehicle with significant cargo capacity.
Big enough for a couple bodies.
Yeah, and that sounds like a typical Mercury trunk, but yeah. Normal, traditional American land yachts.
All right, I'm going to jump in to address a question about the vaccine-related verifications and the paper forms for that. If somebody is not getting a COVID or the CDC card because they are no longer distributing them, acceptable proof. The one I am most encouraging is the prescription receipt. If you get it from a pharmacy, that's where most people are getting it. That it looks exactly like a prescription receipt for any other medication. It should have the person's name, the date, and the vaccine that was administered on it. Notably, when I say a prescription receipt, a cash register receipt is not acceptable, which should be obvious, but nothing is. And then if it's from a doctor or a medical clinic or whatever, they should have some sort of patient record that they could print for the person. I think by law they have to give you your patient record. So if anybody is like, oh, they wouldn't give me it to me, be like, they have to. Those are the two options depending on where somebody gets it for the people who are still doing it at the moment. Online records are the same online records as before, still fine. Everything on the website is still fine. But then because of the rather recent change with things. That is sort of the go-to for options if they are unable to get a CDC card, and if their state doesn't do somebody's feeding back. If their state does not have a good online thing. I think even Nevada takes a little bit of time to update, I've heard. Plus, it depends on when your pharmacy or clinic actually submits the data. Going to put this in here also. I am the only person who is authorized to speak to official COVID stuff for the con. Please direct people to me if there are questions. Preferably, I've said this before, at vax@goblfc.org. In a pinch, Tycho can also, but it is deliberately being held very close to the chest so that we don't have misinformation and to limit the exposure of personal information.
Exposure.
Yeah, save that. Save the exposure for personal information for the festival after dark, please.
I was going to say save. Yeah, same thing. That's where the exposure goes.
Yeah,
but not too much exposure. That will get you kicked out.
Within reason.
Yeah, it's either. I guess if you're talking about exposure, it's either the festival after dark or photography.
I think that's also how artists get paid, right?
Not at Archon.
Thank God. I'm glad we don't have that attitude. People die of exposure.
Hopefully not at Archon.
One last point I want to make.
Good.
Speaking of the payment of artists, I don't know what kind of countermeasures are in place at BLFC, but I believe it was Megaplex, a number of people reported getting a significant number of counterfeit bills. Are we doing anything for that, or just business as usual?
I have already purchased 180 counterfeit detection pens that will be provided to Dealer Den to distribute.
Do we have any of the LED or magnetic ink checks, because people are saying that the pens no longer work?
No, I bought a pack of LED pen lights and tried them on every piece of currency, and it was garbage.
I think maybe to clarify, because something might be getting lost here. We have the pens so that we have something to give to dealers. For ourselves, we have stuff for checking better, but we don't have the funds nor the desire to distribute that to all of the dealers.
Right. No, I figured as much. I was more saying, is there anything that we can provide, or if someone says, hey, we have a suspect counterfeit bill, it passes the pen, but there's just something off about it, can we check it?
Then they shouldn't take it, and they ask for different money.
Yeah, if somebody doesn't want to accept a bill because it feels sus to them, then they shouldn't accept it. Once they've accepted it, there's nothing that can be done.
That's fair enough. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah. If somebody has one and they really want to, I'm sure the hotel the cage will happily tell you that it's fake if you try and put it on your account or something, turn it into chips.
So will literally any slot machine.
That's a good point. We are at a casino.
Yeah.
Yeah, those bill validators are pretty good.
Have had issues with counterfeit money laying around. People bring it. The pen doesn't work any better or worse than it ever has. It's just that because it exists, people don't do the really shitty counterfeiting very often anymore. It's also it detects the stuff that's easiest to detect with your fingers. So
yeah, the pens are kind of the only thing that we can afford to distribute broadly to every dealer. Anything more advanced than that is far too expensive for us to just supply one to every dealer for them to be able to use them.
I mean, and their businesses, if they are concerned about it, they can do their own.
Yeah, the best things to check for is to hold it up to the light and look for the heavy thread that's inside it, because that should be inside the paper, and that's hard to replicate. The other thing to look for is watermark. That's also hard to replicate.
If I remember correctly, the thread also has digits on it that indicate the value.
Yes,
that is correct.
Yeah, that's always the best one, because that's the one that's least likely faked.
And that's also the part that's the part that's fluorescent, is that heavy band that's inside there, that's embedded into the paper. But again, I tried the little cheap UV pen lights that I was able to find, simply did not fluoresce those bands, except for like 20s sometimes worked well enough to at least kind of see it. Everything else was just complete crap. It didn't light up at all.
Most of the point of the threads and the fabric are so that tactilely it's you can feel a fake bill when you're used to feeling money.
Yeah, that's a different. We're talking about the band that fluoresces. It's not the threads of the bill itself. It's the single strip of fluorescent material.
Yeah, got that too.
Yep, sorry, I should have called it the security strip. But yes, like dealers just need to be aware of how to spot counterfeit money. Like, I'm sorry, there's only so much we can do when there's 160 people all over the room, all accepting money on their own behalf.
I think if you're to the point where you're a dealer and you're applying for a space at a major convention, you probably kind of know.
Also, if anybody is dumb enough to try to pass fake money in a casino, yeah, that'll be an exciting time for them.
You never know.
This is how you disappear.
Some people bring in prop money. It's obviously fake, just to kind of have fun with it. Is that something the GSR is going to have issue with?
Do not.
Yeah, don't do that in a casino.
I used to work.
Do not just leave prop hundreds laying around on con space. That will get you in big trouble in a hurry.
Gaming.
Yeah, someone did that 1 year, and I saw casino security have a very nice word with them.
Yes,
they took them into a corner and were very not happy.
Yes,
but you can bring real $2 bills.
Yes.
And give them to alcohol.
$2 are very fun.
Even though they seem fake, but they are actually real.
I will buy them off of you.
How long
Welcome
until
to
the
real fake
saying,
money.
How long until the saying changes to as phony as a $2 bill, and then all of us are just like, oh, please no.
Anyway,
if
you're
looking
for me.
Yeah. What topics have we missed, or what other departments have questions?
I'd like to say something.
Good.
Just really quick, this came up yesterday. If the con coming up, departments are going to use Discord to do trainings. So you may see a lot more people on Discord as departments gather together and do their training for their volunteers. If you see someone doing their training and you see a group of people in there and you don't know who it is, then you leave them be. We've starting to have issues with people just popping into to chats, and just please be aware that if it's not for your department, you probably don't really need to be there.
yeah, there are several meeting rooms in Discord that are there for anyone to use sort of temporarily. It's no different than a meeting room in a business, right? People can gather in that space to have a meeting with each other, and prefer that you not barge in on them while they're in the middle of having a meeting, just like you wouldn't do that in a physical meeting room.
Yep, that's it.
You can set a status under the name of the room if you want to say training for a specific department.
And anybody set that status, or is that only admins on Discord that can do that? Oh, okay.
I think we've covered most of the topics unless anyone has other questions.
I have a few for HR.
Okay, we can just do that set aside.
Afterwards.
I will say for kind of a lot of the details of HR, like badge pickup and all that stuff, we have an email that'll be sent out soon covering basically that laundry list of HR things that make sure that you get taken care of when you step in the door. So if it's kind of in that kind of pool of questions, the big pre-con email is getting drafted up and checked right now, and it will be out soon.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure because it's my first year as a lead. You know, getting all my stuff done that I need to have done.
No problem. We can talk with you, after this meeting or whatnot for specific lead stuff and whatnot if you have questions on that.
Yeah, things about volunteer requests and things. So just pull me in a room afterwards.
Sounds good.
Pull you into a room and have some birds.
Yeah, you too, because that schedule you sent me, I have some questions on how to interpret that.
Okay. Sure. We'll do it right after this meeting, which sounds like is pretty much done.
Yeah.
Any last questions?
Yeah, I think we're down to just like last minute sort of polishing at this point. So everything feels pretty on par and pretty stable. Otherwise, I may want to see if there's any locals who would be willing to help me, perhaps either this weekend or maybe more likely next weekend, with some final sort of swag handling and packaging. I'd like to box up these dice sets so that they don't have to be done at con by gophers. It would be nice to do that in advance, but it takes quite a while. I did some myself, and I can only get through about 25 boxes per hour.
I'd be up for that.
Okay. Actually, no. I'm sorry. It was 25 boxes per episode of Kipo that I was watching. I take that back. So it was like 50 per hour.
Yeah, let me know. I might be able to help out on like Sunday or something.
Okay, that was DJ. Sounded like.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on my phone right now. I can't see the screen, so I'm going off of whatever voices I'm hearing. The other voice sounded like Covis, I think.
Yes.
You're good. You're good. Yeah, I'm willing to help out.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. Unfortunately it's a little tedious because you basically have to do them one at a time, or you risk mixing up the dice sets and ending up with somebody who gets like 2 D12s and no D6 or something like that. So, yeah.
Understandable.
And all the dice are in a bag, and all of the dice are each in their own bag in the bag.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I have bagged your bags so that your bags could be bagged.
Yeah, so now I have a bag of bags on the floor just to collect all the trash that generated. Yeah,
many bags of holding.
Badges.
Yeah, if anybody needs tiny Ziploc bags, I got you covered. We have an enormous number of them now. If you need those for anything.
Or recycle them?
Don't get caught on the side of the road with them.
You can't.
Yeah, my schedule's pretty open. I have I'm still doing the job hunting thing, and I have an interview on Tuesday, but my weekend's free, so.
Okay, cool.
I'll
DJ, did you mean?
Just let me know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. DJ, did you mean this Sunday or next Sunday? That you have
Both.
available. Okay. All right. I think it'll depend a lot on Levi when we sit down and print all the staff badges and get those staff packets made. So I'll have to sit. Levi, I'll talk with you about that after the meeting too and decide what's the best time that makes sense for both of us. Okay. I think that's everything for everyone. Thank you all for coming. I'm excited to see everybody in a couple weeks. I think we're still going to do great.
It's good. And it was Kovis, you were the one that had questions?
Yeah.
I'll drag you into a private room here in a moment.
Kill.
Shimano, can you drag me into that room too when you're ready, please?
I was just gonna go into Teton.
Okay. That's fine.
I would say I think he's asking for you to move him because he's on mobile.
Yeah, it's just easier if you move me. Yes, I won't have a good user interface. Thank you. All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you all soon. Many hugs.
See you in a few weeks.
See you in a few weeks, guys.